we ask that now in this time we may remember with gladness all that is good and kind and wonderful in her life, and to commend her to your everlasting care. We are grateful that we can turn to you in times of need and in times of joy. Grant us a sense of your peace. Grant us a sense of grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Simmons, and I'm one of Janet's daughters. Susan is here, and David. I want to thank you, Kate, for your help in putting this together and your support. I really do appreciate it. And Kelly Larson, who saved me this morning with her amazing organizational skills. She made me look like a slacker. Charles Orr, I can't thank you enough for coming from Southern California. My mom and Charles have been friends forever, friends of our family, and it really belongs to us. Nancy Orr, finally, we get to see you. I'm sorry that it took this, but we love you, and we're glad you're here. And it's not only your son. So thank you. Thank you all for coming. Our family thanks you, and it is so strange to be here in this church, as wonderful as it is, talking about Mom's life and saying goodbye to her, when it doesn't seem that long ago that we were here listening to her sing in the choir when we were kids. We also spent many Sundays here with Charles Orr and then Bill Fredrickson, who tried to keep us on the right path, which I'm sure wasn't easy. Of course, this is also the home of the Holly Bear, very important in this community and to all of us. As a family, we ate a lot of turkey dinners here, and every year we broke out the famous family fudge recipe, which was a secret, according to Mom. It was our donation to the food portion of the Holly Bear. Mom told us that this family recipe had been handed down for generations and we could never share it with anyone. We took that very seriously, and I'm sure many of you have had Mom's fudge. When we got older, Sue and I taught the girls in our family how to make the perfect batch of fudge, but only when we felt they were ready. And only in November and December, because those are the fudge months. And only when we felt they were really ready to take on this solemn responsibility. Just as Mom taught us, we impressed upon them the importance of the proper boiling temperature, the stirring technique, the exact number of marshmallows, with another handful for good luck, and the fudge prayer that kept the butter from separating when it was cooling. That was our one family tradition, and we were proud. So I was a little bummed to find out that when Mom got tired of making the fudge for the Holly Bear, she gave them the recipe. Our recipe. The secret was out. But that's okay, because to us it will always be Mom's fudge. And every year when we make it during the fudge months, we will think of Mom, and we hope that when you eat it, because Susan and the girls, Harriet and the girls will continue making it, that you will think of Mom and enjoy it too. It's actually quite amazing that she was able to keep that secret so long. Given her York Browning bloodlines, Mom came from a long line of strong, hard-working people in Kentucky, but not one of them could keep a secret to save their life. Most conversations between the siblings began with, "I'm not supposed to tell you this." And then if you told them a secret, it would take no time at all before the phone lines were all busy as they tried to be the first to share with one of the siblings. They would have made terrible spies, but they were great brothers and an amazing sister to Mom. After losing Mom and realizing that our original family of 6 Whittaker Isaacs were now half strength at 3, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself. But my wonderful little sister, who is not as cynical as I am, told me she doesn't think of it that way. That we have suffered losses as everyone has, but we have also added to our family. So We're still waiting for David to do his part. And most importantly, with the grandchildren, the Super 8, who are here and who all brought Mom such joy. And we do. Going through 81 years of Mom's pictures reminded me that Janet Isaac was more than just our mom. She was also a young girl in Viper, Kentucky, which is a place, believe it or not. It's gone now. She was a beautiful young woman, a wife, a sister, a friend, a business owner, and eventually her favorite role, Grandma Grams. When we were young, we tend to see our parents as just the people who take care of us. But as we mature, hopefully, we realize that they are people too. Who knew? I remember being shocked the first time I saw my mom a little tipsy. Well, she was a lot tipsy. When she and Dad walked home from the club after one of their theater performances, she was an actress and part of that happening local theater group. I have pictures, you can see them after. My mom was tipsy and singing. This was the woman whose superpower was baking cookies for class parties with no notice, thanks to Jimmy, driving on all field trips, even the overnighters, and being moon mother for all of our classes. That night was the beginning of seeing her as more than just our mom. She performed in the Valley Theater Group for years while she took care of her family, socialized with friends, played tennis, and later worked at Don's liquor store. Mom was raised in a time when women were not encouraged to go into business, and she didn't have any formal business training. But she did have experience, a strong work ethic, and the York stubbornness. So she took a leap of faith and bought Don's liquor store in Bolinas, becoming a business owner. She ran the business for many years before retiring and turning it over to her brother David. We are proud of her, and we know that she took that chance and faced those challenges for her family. After divorce, Mom stayed in the house that our parents had bought in the early 60s to raise their kids so she could provide a home for the next generation. In return, she had the joy of watching some of her grandchildren grow up in front of her. And thanks to Sue, she didn't have to cook for 20 years. While Mom missed being in the daily lives of her other 3 grandchildren, Jake, India, and Imogen, they had the advantage of a grandmother who only knew the good things they did. Yes, Jake. She left this earth thinking you were perfect. And I never told her. Her love for all of her grandchildren and the York grinding strength, or stubbornness, kept her going after the heartbreaking loss of her son, Jimmy. As some of you know, I am not known for having a lot of faith in anything. I am the cynic of the family. We have Sue for all the good stuff. But even I like to imagine that Mom joining the souls and spirits of those who are no longer with us. If that is true, I am sure that Jimmy has years of Mom jokes saved up that her. There are many good memories that come with building life in this wonderful community. Mom lived in the Valley for 55 years. It's a unique place that hasn't seemed to change much since we moved here, except this building has gotten much smaller. It was and is an amazing place to raise kids and make lifelong friends. Mom was lucky to have so many friends who were with her to share the joys and challenges of life. Barbara Simon is here, and I'm so happy she was able to make it. Barbara is one of the first people that I remember as Mom's friend. She lived next door to us in our first house in Woodacre, and she took care of us when our baby sister was being born. Mom and Barbara have been friends forever, and Barbara, we're happy that you are here. We are. Mom loved to read and enjoyed her friends at the book club. She would often share the gossip that she learned at her meetings. So it might have been a little more social, but she loved it, and she loved you. So it was all worth it. Marion and Bill Horton have been friends of our family for so long, I don't think we've ever had a major event without them. They on to celebrate weddings and births and give needed support in the difficult times. Thank you for being here. I think Mom and Marion spoke on the phone every day. I also think they shopped on QVC together on the phone. Mom would often call me to pass on vital information she had recently learned from her dear friend Marion, such as warning me not to open the door for the meter reader who might be there to rob me, and encouraging me to buy gallons of coconut oil that I was supposed to bathe in and eat to stay young. I know that friends are family too, and it is hard to lose someone who's been such a big part of your life. So Marion, feel free to call me, and I'll tell you my plan to someday take a walk. And I will tell you how wonderful the grandchildren are, and it will be a little like talking to Mom. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that signs of a successful life are to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that even one life has been easier because you have lived. We can look around at Mom's friends and family, the children she raised and the grandchildren she cherished, and we know that she achieved that success, and that she was loved. We have a song program from some of the Chavez children. Come on up. That was good.
Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Janet that I knew. Because we are missing a very important voice in this narrative for me, I'm going to try and channel a little bit of her son today, her father, Isaac, who had a bit of a sense of humor, or at least he thought he did. So this will either work out really well, or I'll just be the idiot making jokes at my brain. So please bear with me here. Janet was a wonderful grandmother. She was sweet, funny, incredibly attentive. But not only was she a doting grandma, she was also my first employer. My family one day had enough of my loafing around, and Grandma softly started telling me I missed to work at the store. I was 5 years old. These were formidable times for me working in a liquor store. I learned how to properly dust liquor bottles. I learned how to count back change properly. And most importantly, I think, I learned the difference between a pack of regular cigarettes and menthols. From my time in the store, Grandma, I had formed an idea of what real life was like. I believed that for the rest of my life, there would be a giant jar of gummy worms at my place of work that I could help myself to whenever I wanted. I believed that every business owner had a secret stash of dog treats to feed to the dogs that wandered in looking for love. Most of all, I learned about empathy and kindness. No matter who walked in the doors of the store, Janet greeted them with a smile and a warm hello. She would always strike up a friendly conversation with strangers, and old friends and store regulars were welcome with warmth and love. As a young child, this left a lasting impression. No matter who you were, what you looked like, you were treated by Janet as an equal. You were treated with kindness, genuine kindness. Over the years, she was one of the incredible women in my life who helped show me what it means to be a woman. She possessed strength, passion, empathy, and a sense of humor absolutely filled to the brim with sarcasm. All things that I firmly believe to be essential in womanhood. There are moments in your life that stick out, that become significant and meaningful. My memories of Janet are precisely that. They're filled with meaning and happiness. Like the first time she called me a little shit. It was amazing, like joining some sort of exclusive club. I feel so incredibly lucky to have had a grandmother like Janet. She was simply spectacular. Grams, you will be forever missed and always remembered. I love you.
Alright, we'll just keep it peaceful. So, Jake, the yeah, she told us her things, but later in life I started telling her things. Sometimes she would choose to ignore it or just say, oh, I see. So, thanks for coming to the sister. She would be pleasantly surprised how important she always was. My grandmother was a leader. She was a beautiful young woman going through those photos. She was like the most petite, gorgeous thing I'd ever seen. She got married young, she had kids young, so kind of what was supposed to happen, I guess, at that age. So she had a kind of, it was not an easy life most of the time. She had 4 beautiful children, who in turn had some beautiful grandchildren, sitting right there. Really good looking. God, it looks like Justin Bieber. And that's something I think my grandmother instilled in Nancy as well. This is something, that is such a precious thing that I will take for the rest of my life to be this, all I want to do is be a parent. She was really, really involved. Grandma's character was bubbly, laid back, just smooth. Describe it. She was just a cool cat wherever she went. My dad was a cool cat, and Susan was smooth. You can see her right now. Nancy's the drive, motivation, reminder of what it takes to really succeed. I love it. I have the best of both worlds all the time. She was the one who would tell me to take a breath when I got too stressed. Before she passed, about a year before she passed, after my father died, she would call me a lot more regularly. We had a lot of really interesting conversations. Mostly she was talking about my cousins at the house, what they were doing, making contacts, and what was going on in Woodacre, Like, we're grown up now. We used to be tight. We're still tight, but we don't see each other like we used to. We have our own lives because we're older now. And she was my inside, look into the Woodacre scene. Came out here, you can do whatever you She was the one to tell me how to take a breath. Remember what's really, really important. Your dad's gone. You need to care about your family at all times. And that was really important to me. She was the one who made me take a back seat sometimes and tell me, like, Jake, look what you've done in the past 10 years. You've done some amazing things that people don't get to do. You have a head start like nobody else does. So she was a rock for sure. Some of my best memories are waking up early, knowing we're going to Woodacre, hang out with my cousins, I'm probably 10, 12 years old, something like that. The boys and I would play tackle football outside, and Grandma would sit there and watch us. Jake, don't wail, whine a little bit, kind of not do anything, but just talk about it. Tell us to be soft. Be soft on each other. Or after a day working at the liquor store, she would always come to the house, as long as we were living in Nevada, come to the house afterwards because she had to use the bathroom. That was her schedule. After work, driving to Jimmy's house and going to the bathroom. I didn't really realize it. I just thought she was coming to see us. Also, she was great babysitting. She let me do whatever I wanted. I was ecstatic. I knew Grandma was coming over. India and I, we plan our nights out. Ice cream, BTD, just cuddling, blankets, sweatpants, the best. And that's all me and India really want to this day. Watching something, film, TV, whatever, maybe having a few drinks or something. That's my dream. Grandma lived it. She would never tell us to go to bed. No, she would. Come on, you can go to bed. And we'd I have my mom's voice in my head. So we would go to bed. 2 minutes tops. Wake up. She'd be on the couch watching TV or something. I can't sleep. Just sit there with her. She'd go get us some ice cream. Sit there, great time, stay up till 2, 3 in the morning. And Dad would get home after a night in the city or something. What are you doing But one story, I never told her this, but she used to put the ice cream in these tiny little trays that she thought would be cute to give. Those are actually the cat balls. That was the cutest things ever. Yeah. Well, so no one didn't like my grandma. No one didn't like Jenny. Even when I worked at the liquor store last summer, which was crazy, for like 3 or 4 months with Neil. Just a trip, man. It was just some of the weird, you know, anyone who came in there would be like, who are you? I'm not buying anything. Secret Service, CIA dude, now working at John's Liquor Store. No, I'm actually Janet's grandson. Been here a while. Like, oh yeah, Janet. And then that would just start a Janet conversation. 2 hours. While I had people coming in trying to get booze and cigarettes and stuff. And I was meaningful conversation while I'm just like throwing the stuff out at people. She really taught me that to be kind is to be genuine, and just be nice to people. It's really not that hard, you know. You just look people in the eyes. You ask questions about their life. You genuinely care. She genuinely cared about all of us here. She would do anything for us. And you know, right now we're in this weird spot, I think, where it's like good versus. I truly believe it's good versus evil right now, politically and socially. It's just something that she taught me that kindness rules all. Be nice to people. That's what people want. You know, you just want to feel like you have meaning. Like when you meet someone, you're important to them, even if you're just meeting for the first time. You know, get off your phone, look at people in the eyes, just try it out. You might like it. She taught me that. Being kind, I mean, if you think you're kind, it's like being cool. If you think you're a kind person, you're probably not. You're a kind, generous person. I mean, you don't do it because of that. You do it because that's just kind of the person you are. Because you like it. You feel good when you're nice to people. She taught me. She always gave people the benefit of the doubt, including myself, heavily, big time. You know, when she talked to me, it came from a place of just love and truth. That's what I'll try to emulate that as long as I will. You know, just be genuine, kind, and honest. I'll love my grandma forever. I'll always think about her, and there's so many things that will remind me of her forever. So thank you guys so much.
Kenny, I'm going to follow the word. Kenny, go. Thank you, Jenny. I'm Harriet Isaac, and I am Janet's elite. And I had it a lot easier than Nancy and Susan. When I first met Jimmy, he shared stories of his childhood, which seemed like the quintessential perfect California upbringing, one very different to mine. It sounded idyllic, living in Woodacre, so beautiful, in a small and cozy home with his 3 siblings and mum and dad. His stories revealed a simple life, interrupted by chaos, craziness, quirkiness,
very proud of and thankful to his mom for the way she raised him. He said she was nurturing, loving, and dependable. So much so that he had no qualms volunteering her services as classroom mum at the start of every school year without her knowledge. She was a parent driver for every one of his field trips. She would bake cookies for the entire class, and most importantly, supported him in their shared passion for theatre. Before he had access to a car, she would drive over the hill to pick him up from late night rehearsals and never missed a performance. A big part of Jim's success was due to Janet's support and encouragement. Parenting 4 children must have been challenging for Janet at times, especially having Jimmy, who was rather mischievous, and I'm being kind there. I know he often tested her patience. He reveled in the fact that he always seemed to get away with murder because he could A, outrun her, and B, diffuse her temper with his clown antics. He was especially proud of torturing Janet on one particular occasion. While chasing Jimmy around the house, he managed to lure her to a beanbag chair, turned to abruptly face her, and gently push her into the beanbag chair. Legs and arms flailing, she was unable to get up. And seeing the ridiculousness of it all, burst into laughter. Janet was a very generous mother-in-law to me. Jimmy and I lived with her on a couple of occasions in between moving homes. And after Jake was born in Los Angeles, I was very homesick for my Northern California friends and family, and we decided to move back up here. She opened her home to the 3 of us so that we could save for a down payment for our first home. During this time, Jimmy was working in Vancouver on location, and Janet was working out of the store. And as a new mother, I was a little overwhelmed. The days were very long. I could not wait for her to come home at night. I would wait at that door at 7:40 with a screaming baby. And as soon as the door opened, I could hand Jake to her. And immediately he would stop. She was so relaxed. And she loved him so much, and he would immediately fall asleep. It was such a beautiful thing to see, and also very eye-opening and a good life lesson for me, like not Harriet. She showed great interest in my family and helped me through some very tough times. She was particularly kind and generous to my brother Guy, and made him feel like a part of her family. When Jim and I moved to Los Angeles, Guy was looking for a place to live, and she again invited him to be her roommate. They were like an old married couple sitting in the living room, smoking cigarettes and watching TV. He offered to paint the outside of her house. He managed about 3/4 of the project, lost momentum, and ended up painting a self-portrait on the side of the house, promising that he would finish the job later. Unfortunately, he was never able to fulfill his promise. Some 27 years later, that portrait is still inside the house. And my last conversation with Janet was her concern about how to preserve that portrait as she was getting the house repainted. So sweet. When my brother was recovering from surgery, my of love and the importance of family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Brother Kenny, you want to go before the song?
Well, I'm the youngest of what some in our family would refer to as the gang of five. Jen, my oldest sister, is 21 years older than me, so I have a unique perspective knowing her growing up. Our summers were spent with Nancy being sent to Sacramento because my mother liked the girls better. I was sent to Whitaker where I grew up with Janet. David, who was a month, her oldest son, is a month older than me. So I got to see Janet from both the side of a older sister and a mother growing up. She was good at both. One of the reasons I wanted to speak today is because the relationship I had with Janet. This is the only time that I will get to say the last word. Often had passionate discussions. She was one of the strongest women, and I shouldn't have to say this, if anyone's ever going to meet the strongest person you're going to ever meet. She had a number of tragedies in her life that she overcame easily. At the same time, she was blessed. She had the last 20 years with a house full of grandchildren, her daughter Susan, and her final time with us in the hospital, again surrounded by family. Susan was there throughout that, did a very good job. You could not ask for a better job than Susan did, not only for living and raising children in the hospital, but very well. Janet loved her family, was passionate about her family, I think more than anyone I ever met. She was blessed with a strength that comes from
we all gather here today to celebrate the life of a remarkable, wonderful, gracious, fun woman who has graced our own lives with a vitality and a love that goes beyond most of our abilities to word. I've known Jan for a long time, 56 years since I served as the young pastor in this valley and served both the congregation and the community. And I remember calling upon Dave and Jan in their home in Woodacre and bonding with them as friends and confidants and sharing experiences with them like the Valley Players and which is overly ambitious productions, the Woodacre Improvement Fund. And I was privileged to baptize several of their children and to officiate at Nancy and at Susan's weddings, and to meet with Jan's wider family, the York family, and to relate deeply to their own friends. I was with them in good times and not so good times, and I always found them to be stalwart friends, accepting me in my own needs, which were many, and just being there for me in times of stress and times when things were good. I always found them to be just great people, and I remember that they would provide a safe place for me, a place of healing and a place of respite when my wife at the time was very ill and hospitalized in San Francisco, and I would drive from Santa Cruz to San Francisco and then to Marin. They would provide such a lovely place for me to just relax and return to my duties, not only as a husband, but as a pastor in Santa Cruz with a lot of responsibilities. And they were just that kind of people. They were there for you. And later, when my own marriage dissolved, they embraced my daughters, Melissa and Nancy, and welcomed them into their home and into their hearts and provided a place for them to enjoy being children. And Jan was the key to all this. She was by nature a very nurturing person, and she was full of life and love and humor. And long ago, the psalmist wrote that the Lord makes a woman to be a joyful mother of children. And she was just that. She was a joyful mother. She took delight in her children. She saw to their needs. She did all that she could to provide for them and gave them a sense of security and self-worth in them. She relished in all of their achievements, but she never forced them into some sort of a mold, some sort of a place of expectation. She never laid that trip upon them. She just accepted them as themselves and encouraged them to be themselves, whatever it was, however, in whatever road they decided to take. And she respected people and accepted them as who they were. Above all, I think Jan was fun. She had a way of telling stories that just added delight. She had a sense of irony that was always expressed in kindness. And she was a tireless worker. After she and David parted, she took a modest job in the liquor store in the deli in Fairfax. And she became such a trusted employee there, traveling back and forth, working long hours, that she eventually earned the trust of Don, and then he moved her to Polinas to manage there, and then eventually sold her the business, which sustained the family. She would drive back and forth from Polinas. She would raise the children. She always exuded a kind of love, despite any stress in her own life. She was able to meet people in Polinas, which is a very interesting community. welcomed the very bizarre people. I remember she would tell stories about the tree lady. The tree lady was a lady who lived in the bushes, but also wore branches in her hair and all the other natural things. And Jan would just accept her in the store as if she were just ordinarily dressed. That was the way Jan was. She just greeted people as they were and took them as they were and didn't have that terrible, bitter sense of judgment and put down. Jan had a great wisdom. She was people smart. She could sense where other people's needs were. She didn't put people down. She wasn't judgmental at all. She accepted people and sort of knew where they were, knew their strengths, and knew their vulnerability. She she had great love, and she received great love. Her family gave her love back, and her children, her grandchildren, her brothers and friends, they sustained her during times when she herself was bearing crushing responsibilities and burdens, and particularly during the time when she lost Jimmy, which was devastating to her life. Jan Isaac was a blessing to this community, to so many who knew her in her long life and presence in this beautiful valley. She was here for people. Long, long ago, the psalmist wrote that the years of our life are 80 years and 10. And then the psalmist allowed how by even as great strength they might be 80 years. Jan lived 80 years in great strength. And she lived that in a certain way of dealing with people that exhibited a deep faith in them, and a deep and abiding faith. And she had a sense of the presence of God. It was not necessarily conventional, but it was there and it was real. And she showed in her life the best of the way that we can live our lives. The ways of just accepting people and being there for them and giving of yourself. And so I think that this is a time when we celebrate. We thank God for the gift of her life, for all that was good and kind and merciful in her. And we thank God for the faith that sustained her. As a Christian, I believe that life has meaning. It has purpose and it has meaning. Jan fulfilled the best of the ideals of human life and meaning. And I thank God for her and for the people that she loved. Amen.
Where's Bob? It wouldn't be a memorial without Bob. Come on.
So we got a lot of people here. Oh, great to be here. You know, everybody said everything that I want to say. And I'm proud to be here today. You know, you have the moments. I'm not going to go too long because I've been here a while. I get that. You don't sign up. You don't sign up for these opportunities they have. You know, you don't go for the result. You go for the process, and you go for the journey. And it's been a great journey. On the surface, me and Mom battled. Underneath that surface, on what counts, she wanted the best for David, wanted the best for Nance, wanted the best for Jimmy, wanted the best for Susan, and wanted the best for the people that are here today and the ones that aren't. You've all been to a lot of services. You're going to be to a bunch more. It happens. I'm not sad or bad. Browning, York, Isaac, Simmons, Vibe, and how they welcomed Chavez family, my heart, full of gratitude. I walk with that attitude daily. This is the greatest day of my life. You get these opportunities to say some things. I'm grateful everybody said everything. For the people that didn't get up and speak, I know you think kind thoughts about mine. So I'm hugely proud of Mom. And I'm grateful for all that she's given us. Kids know that. We will try to honor that. We will honor it today. We will honor that memory. Walking tall, walking proud, picking up garbage that isn't ours, making the world a kinder place. That's how we will roll. And that part, we were together. We did not argue about that. We wanted the best for the people that we love and the people that loved us. It's a song everybody's heard. She loved the Kentucky vibe. You walk by the room, and sometimes she'd have some gospel, old songs, and she loved to reminisce. Got to thank the people involved in this church. You guys put together, this machine is rolling. This place is nice. We don't get to visit this place much, but home, sometimes you go away, and sometimes you go away just so you can come back. And boy, this is a nice place. Great place. You know this song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. It's a long song. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious was that grace appeared the hour I first believed. You so many dangers, toils, and snares I have already come. It was grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home.
Thanks so much. I ask you all to join me in prayer. Oh God, before whom generations rise and pass away, you are our comfort and strength. You have given us our sister Janet to know and to love in our pilgrimage on earth. We are especially grateful to you for her, whose baptism is now complete in death. We praise you for the wonderful gift of her life, for everything in her that was good and kind and faithful, for her special gift grace that you gave her to welcome those in her work and in her avocations, to welcome them whether they were strange to her, as if they were not. We thank you for the grace that she showed all of us. We thank you for her wit, for her sarcasm, for her humor, for her love of being good to people. We thank you for the grace that kindled in her good things in us and enabled her to serve you faithfully. We thank you that for Janet, death is past and pain ended, and that she has now entered the joy that you have prepared through Jesus Christ our Lord. We ask you, God, to uphold us now as we entrust her to your boundless love and eternal care. Assure us that not even death can separate us from your infinite mercy. Deal graciously with us in our anguish, that we may truly know your sure consolation and learn to live in confident hope of the resurrecting power of your love. Into your hands, O merciful Savior, we commend your servant Janet. Acknowledge, we humbly pray, a sheep of your own fold, a lamb of your own flock, a penitent of your own redeeming. Receive her into the arms of your mercy, into the blessed rest of everlasting peace, and into the glorious company of the saints in light. Amen. We've heard a lot about the things that gave Janet joy, that made her laugh, the cuddling with grandkids. And we've heard about the things that made her weary of life, particularly the loss of Jimmy. We all know that. And so I would ask God to grant all of you what she probably knew, that those who wait